meet those other three guys behind him right now? What are you looking for them for this point?
Yeah, we're looking to develop each and every one. I think all four of those guys are in different spots. I mean, you go all the way from Gunner just getting here to Stetson being 23, 24 years old and having seen a lot of football. So they're in different spots, all four guys. The biggest challenge for us for the spring is to get reps and develop, because we don't have the depth at the skill positions, receiver and defensive back and even tight end, to be able to do some of the things we like to do practice-wise. So we're trying to be innovative, creative in the way we practice, because quarterback development is critical. So if you have quarterbacks that aren't able to get reps, how do they get better? So I'm big on challenging our staff to be creative in the ways we rep those guys, who goes with what groups, how many reps a week you get, what percentages. We want to see those guys get better. It's easy, you know, when you have three groups of offensive linemen, they all get work. But you might have four quarterbacks, and it's hard to get those guys to work. So I want to see those guys improve. You know, they can't all play, so it's a matter of growing them to get them in a position to where they can be successful.
Kirby, another quick injury update. Tresman Marshall, Tate Ratledge, Aaron Smith, all three of them had their season cut short. What's their status coming into the spring?
Yeah, they're all running, moving, doing things. Aaron's been able to take some reps. Aaron will be practicing with us some, not the 100%, but he'll be able to practice with us. Tate's coming off the foot injury. He's not going to be able to take reps in the spring, but he's weight bearing, he's running, he's doing some activity there, and able to take walkthrough reps. So I kind of take him in a different mode. He's not out for the entire spring. He's just not going to get to go live with us. But the progress has been great for both those guys. And then Tresman is doing some running, some cutting. He's got a knee brace on. He'll be able to take some reps, but not 100%.
For the record, I think Anthony's question about quarterbacks was 15 minutes in, which means that was meant. That's the longest we took to get quarterbacks. And
hey, y'all turned a new leaf.
You had experience at Alabama coming off national championships, but 41 years is a different animal. Is there something you want to do, you have to do with this team to make sure that there is a clean break and a new start, or do you not want a clean break, new start mentality?
Well, let's be clear. You know, we won a national championship because we had really good players who played well together, right? So usually the team that wins the national championship is a unified group. I mean, I can go through the last couple of years. It was like this really great group of special players at LSU that won the national championship. Really good group, special leaders at Alabama. They won the national championship. We had a really good group. So we're trying to like develop our team to emulate what is your identity? Is it going to be supreme talent with great character, with great leadership? Is the leadership and character going to outweigh the talent? We're trying to figure out what this team's identity is, completely independent of the previous years. And there's you know, when you look out there, there's not as much experience. There's good football players on this roster, but we got to get those guys in position to be successful. And our job as coaches is to grow them. So I'm gonna repeat, I am not, you know, worried about living in the past. That's our job, to make sure these kids grasp that what they do is in front of them. I mean, the wind blows a lot harder at the top, but we've been up there. So it's not like we've been at the tip top, but it's been blowing pretty good where we were. So we got to do a good job, continue to develop our guys and get our guys ready to play.
You mentioned earlier Glenn Schumann being an important part of the culture here, entering his now 7th season with you guys. How have you seen him grow as a position coach and ultimately taking on more responsibilities as a co-defensive coordinator?
Well, he's always trying to grow and get better. You know, he's never satisfied. I think a lot of times you can get complacent. It sets in on all of us. This is what we do. We don't ever want to be complacent. That's just not what I believe in. We're always trying to find a different way to do it better, and I think Glenn epitomizes that. He's constantly on Zooms with NFL guys. He talks to high school coaches. He's a sponge. He doesn't think he knows it all. He's always trying to find a better way to do it, to reinvent himself as a coach. And I think that his players play really hard. They have a passion and energy for him that they want to be successful. I mean, to do what he's done with those 3 guys that are coming out this year is really pretty special. Number one, he helped recruit them. He helped identify them, and then he helped mold them into good players. So there's a pedigree there that he's able to recruit to.
I've got a question about a preferred walk-on that y'all signed on National Signing Day. Cedron Brundage from Putnam County. What did y'all like out of him, you and Coach McGee, so late in the process, right before y'all got Andrew Cole?
Well, he lives in a rural area. There's not a lot of foot traffic, I call it, through there. You wouldn't say that's a heavily recruited school. They don't get a lot of traffic. He's a guy that we thought was a really good football player. We've had a lot of success here in our walk-on program. You can look throughout our history. You can look over the last 6 years. We've had guys earn scholarships left and right, and he's got the talent to do that. He's a really good football player, and we felt like he could help our roster. And you know, we're a little bit thinner at running back than we've been in the past too. So we're hoping he can help us there.
Two more very quick questions.
Yeah, Kirby, you mentioned being prepared to replace some of those guys on the defensive line. I guess Zion Logue specifically seems like a guy that is prepared to step into a bigger role. Just what have you seen from him developing maybe this spring, and is he prepared to, you know, kind of fill the shoes of some of those guys?
Well, those are big shoes to fill. So we don't do comparisons. We let you guys stick with comparisons. You know, I think comparisons can be bad for people when they try to compare. I think what's good about Zion, he's a great leader. He's a great kid. He is the perfect example of a guy that has matured and he's grown. He used to have academic problems freshman year, wouldn't go to this, wouldn't have this, and now for the last year, he's not on lists. He handles his weight. He practices really hard. He's hit a strength, a little bit extra strength in the weight room that's going to help make him a better player. We got high expectations for him. He's going to take on a larger role, but his role may not be the same as what those guys were.
I think I'll have some data on the skull sessions now. How tough of a sell was that for you as a concept to bring that into what y'all did day to day in your position groups? And were you surprised by how much of an impact that had on the results?
Well, we don't do it day to day. That would be probably overkill. We space it out. Different times of the year, it's one time a week. Sometimes it's 2 times a week. Sometimes it's no times a week based on where we are in our program. But it wasn't a hard sell for me because I felt like we needed to change. I felt like we had several years of kind of repeated results, and we wanted to bring some new ideas and new energy in, and we tried to twist those this year some to change it up because we're kind of a different team. But I certainly am pleased with the results, and that's why we're continuing to do it, because I think it's important for our players to hear messages from their coaches and then also from each other. It allows them to stand up in front of each other and talk, and I think it had a direct impact on these guys that went to the combine, because not just their workouts were great, but the way they talk and carry themselves, they got a lot of practice doing that here. I think that was big for them. So, thanks.
Thank you.